Welcome aboard. It's Captain G with Newblood Turn 15, July 1943 recap. So next turn, January 44, will be our final full turn where we're not rolling for the end of the game. We start rolling in July of 44, turn 17. But let's recap where we are at the end of 15. So when we look at the economy, the U.S., again, sitting at 61 after the loss of Portugal in the last turn to the Italians. Has the largest economy, followed by the Soviets and the Germans, the Japanese, the Italians. I had to swap roundels because I ran out of the fascist roundel. I needed them on the map, so I use these for technology and strategic objectives. And then with 18, the United Kingdom and the other minor powers. Technology, the Soviets were the first to achieve 5 technologies. They have another one at 3. So the Comintern is starting to take a technological lead. The Allies have a combined 7, though, with 3 for the UK and 4 for the US. And that matches nearly the combined 8 of the Axis. But the Axis have struggled the entire game with their technology rolls. We go to strategic objectives with the victory in Helsinki. The Comintern have won the Winter War, so they've secured now 2 of their victory conditions, plus their 2 victory cities gives the Comintern 4 victory points. The Western Allies have 2 victory cities, and then the Axis powers have 6 strategic objectives and 6 victory cities. So taking a look at the map, so a few key battles this turn. We'll actually have one housekeeping that we're going to roll for the game this turn as well, but we'll do that at the end. Based out of Gibraltar, the German and the Italian air forces have been striking into this sea zone, hitting the convoy lines. So the UK is now starting to get hit by a lot more convoy damage. They've been doing their best to counter by hitting the German line that they have access to. Also, with the 3rd Air Force based in southern England, the American heavy strategic bomber is able to dispel death at will in unprotected areas of the German Empire. The first strike was here in Königsberg, where they took out a German militia safely, well behind the front against Great Britain. And this is the first death on the Eastern Front since the fall of Poland. But just north of that, the Soviets, as we said, secured their victory objective by taking Helsinki, with their elite airborne being the final survivor there. The Germans and Italians are building up in Iraq, Iran, and India to assist their Japanese allies in squashing the last of the Far East Command. But they remain resilient, back up to 4 Gurkhas and 1 colonial infantry in Benares, within an attack distance of Calcutta. But the big battle this turn was by the Japanese hitting the forces in Bengal with their air and amphibious assaults, wiping that force out. So they still are holding onto British Malaya, and they still have an army in India, but we'll see how long that they can hold out. Additionally, in the Pacific, while we're over here, The American Navy, which is a theme of this recap, has built quite a force, 3 attack transports, 5 light cruisers that they've had since early in the game that came through, and their new carrier. And then in the production, they have 3 battleships, 3 heavy cruisers, 3 fleet carriers, and 1 escort carrier that can be put onto the board next turn. But as the U.S. Navy remembers Pearl Harbor, or in our game, the Battle of San Francisco, there's another key naval battle in the North Atlantic. The Italians sortied out of A-44 and came down and hit the American task force trying to sink their transports. But on the Italian turn, they messed up some of the rolls, so it went into the U.S. turn to finish the battle. And the lone surviving damaged battleship took out 2 American battleships and then wiped out this 3 transports and the cargo on those transports. However, the last American battleship did not get its defensive roll. So if it rolls a hit, then it saves those transports because it sinks the Italian battleship before it can do the damage. If it misses, then the events that occurred on the U.S. turn, which is the counterattack and the sinking of that Italian battleship, are how we're going to set up the board, and that's going to be what takes place. If the transports survive, Lancer Bolt has already shared with us that they would have gone into this sea zone and dropped their troops off in southern England, so that's what we'll do, and the board will reflect that. So the all-important roll for the last part of the Battle of the North Atlantic: 1 to 6 is a hit, and it saves the transports. 7 to 12 is a miss, and the transports go down to the bottom of the ocean. That's an 11, so sadly that's a miss. Sadly for the Americans. So they are lost, as is the destroyer that was lost on the counterattack. And the disposition of forces at the end of Lancer Bolt's turn was where things were. So next up is turn 16, January of 44, and Germany. For Eggman, Lancer Bolt, and Mark the Shark, I'm Captain G. Over and out.